Happy Tuesday afternoon to you. I'm your host, Joey Petersen. You're watching the Ravens Rundown. We are live on this Tuesday evening. So excited. Got a lot to talk about on today's show. We're going to start off with a little bit of a gift that the Baltimore Ravens just got. We'll dive into that one off the top of the show. Then we're going to go into a little bit of surprise cut candidates. I'm going to give you 6 names that I think could be on the chopping block heading into the offseason, heading into free agency. And then, of course, segment number 3, the best segment of the week, is our live Ravens mailbag. You ask me questions, I give you answers, and Jack Lotteray just realized he missed everything everywhere all at once. Yes, he did. We're having a little bit of an Oscars discussion before we went live. And now that we are live, you guys let me know. Who do you think is going to win the AFC North in 2025? Is it Baltimore again? Is it Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, or Cleveland? You let me know in the comment section down below. I got Baltimore. I don't know who you guys got, but I hope it's Baltimore. Given the fact that it's the middle or late, close to end of February. You guys are still watching. You guys are still here hanging out with me right here on the Ravens Rundown. I got a feeling I'm going to get a lot of BALs, but you guys let me know in the chat down below. Baltimore, Cincy, Pittsburgh, or Cleveland. If I had to rank the 4 of, in my opinion, best odds to win, Baltimore's on top. I think Cincinnati's defense is just going to be abysmal again. So I don't think they're going to be second. I think it's going to be chalk just like it was this year. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincy, Cleveland. But also, you know what? That never happens. That rarely happens in sports. So we'll see. But give me Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cincy, Cleveland. You guys let me know down below who you think is going to win the AFC North. We got a ton of people hanging out with us. Jack is still distraught that he missed that trivia question. It's okay, Jack. It's okay. But we got a ton of people hanging out with us. Really appreciate every single one of you guys. Make sure to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to like today's video. Let me know that you're here in the comment section. If you've got a question you want to put on the end of today's show, ask it. Use hashtag Ravens, okay? That way we can get it into the software. Jack can pull it up on the screen. I can answer it for you. So if you want a chance to get on this show, to get on that episode, to get on our mailbag, use hashtag Ravens. Ask me a question, but you got to use hashtag Ravens. Also, just a little bit of a reminder, a little bit over 2 months, we're going to be raffling off the bank. This is y'all's first time hanging out with us. If it's not, we've been doing this for the entirety of the season. We got over 70 names in there of proud Ravens Rundown fans, proud Ravens fans. So if you haven't already, just costs $10 to join the bank. We'll raffle this off at the draft, end of the, middle of the offseason. That's going to be going home to our lucky winner. Shout them out in the comment section down below. Who's a player you want the Baltimore Ravens to cut? We're talking cut candidates in our second segment of the day. Let me know someone you want the Ravens to cut. We got a ton of great people in here. We got friend Joshua Hurrybert. What's up, Joshua? We got The Braggart, K. Payton, Ravens fan. K. Payton says, spit it out. What's the gift, LOL? K. Payton, you're going to have to stick around for about, 3 minutes longer, 2 minutes longer? We'll get in the first cut soon. Ian said, Ben Cleveland has a DUI. Not looking good for the Ravens. Ian, you're not wrong. He blew like a 167, which when you are 6'6", 350 pounds, that's a lot of alcohol. That is a lot. So yeah, not a great sign, that's for sure. Xlight, hashtag Ravens is our Super Bowl window closing. Great question. Love that. I'll answer that one coming up later. Ian said you got the Justin Tucker situation, then you got the Ben Cleveland situation. Yeah, this offseason's been interesting. That's for sure. Make sure you guys like today's video. Okay, I'm getting a lot of Justin Tuckers. That's how much, or that's who you want to cut. Okay, not bad. We'll talk about that coming up shortly. It's a pretty good call right there. But if you want the Ravens to make a splash in the upcoming 2025 NFL offseason and upcoming 2025 NFL free agency, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and let me know what you want them to do. And let me know that you want them to do something big, okay? Like last season, you signed Derrick freaking Henry. If you want them to do something similar, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button, likes today's video. We're at 16 likes, 50 people in the chat. I need that to be, by the time that we are at the end of today's, in the first cut, I need that to be at 25, okay? Actually, in the first cut, I need that to be at 30, okay? Yeah, we should be at 25 before we start. Thank you, Jack. 18 likes, 48, watch it. Come on, keep it liking. Let's get that up, let's get that up. X-Light says, sign Tyreek. Interesting. Well, you can't sign him because he's not going to be a free agent, and I don't think the Dolphins are going to cut him. You could trade for him, though. You could trade for him. Delvin said Andrews need to trade or restructure his contract. I think one of those two things has happened. My guess is the latter, Delvin. My guess is the latter. 619 Cali Factors in here. We got K. Payton, Delvin, Troy White, X-Light High, Ian17. We got all the real ones. John Schramm hanging out with us. We got a loaded show coming up for you guys. We're going to start off with talking about a little bit of a gift that the Ravens just got. Hint, it's from the Miami Dolphins, okay? Stick around. I'm about to get into that one. Then we got some surprise cut candidates to get to. I'll give you 6 names that you need to watch out for, guys who might be on the chopping block. And then we're going to end today's show with a live Ravens mailbag. 22 likes. Let's get to 25, okay? Let's get to 25, and by the time I'm out of this, let's be at 40, okay? That's what I'm setting. You guys help me get there by hitting that thumbs up button. All righty, Jack, are you ready to roll, my friend? No, he's not. Okay, he said he's not ready to roll because we're not at 25 likes. Thank you for keeping me accountable. 2 more likes. We're 2 more likes away. Yeah, 1 more like. Who's going to put us over? Once we get to 25, Jack's going to automatically push us. I'm not even going to send us there. Boom. Welcome into today's show. You're watching the Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen. And on today's show, we're talking about a little bit of a gift the Baltimore Ravens just got from the Miami Dolphins. Makes me want to put the praise hands up. Say hallelujah. I'll get it to you very, very quickly. But before we get into that, and I reveal what that is, if you want the Ravens to make a signing in upcoming NFL free agency, go ahead and like the video, okay? The Ravens made a splash last offseason signing Derrick Henry. Do you want something similar? Do you want something to push this team over the top? If so, make sure to send a message. Show the entire front office by hitting that thumbs up button. So this news comes from late last week. Miami Dolphins tweeted this out. Roster moves. We have released cornerback Kendall Fuller, running back Raheem Mostert, and tight end Durham Smythe. We're going to talk about the releasing of cornerback Kendall Fuller because I truly believe that this could be a gift for the Baltimore Ravens. And I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting there right now and thinking to yourself and maybe even saying out loud, asking out loud, Joey, if they cut him, obviously he's not very good. Why would we want him on this team? Well, there's a reason that he was cut, okay? Miami, they were $13 million over the salary cap, okay? You think our salary cap situation is bad? At least we are in the green, not in the red. Cutting Fuller saved $2.67 million. He was one of 3 cuts like we just outlined right there, and it helped him out a little bit. But they're still $5.4 million over the cap, but they were able to save around $8 million with those 3 cuts. Kendall Fuller just happened to be one of them. And I think that this is one of those no-brainer free agent signings, okay, for multiple reasons. 1, he could help you out. 2, I just don't think he'd be that expensive, okay? He's going into he just turned 30. Okay, this is year 7 for him. He's coming off of an injury-laden season, and I know it's kind of a risk to hitch a wagon to a guy that age coming off of injuries, but I believe he's still got a lot left in the tank. I think he can be an incredible upgrade for this secondary. So let me know, comment section down below, should the Ravens sign Kendall Fuller? Give me a simple yes, simple no in the comment section down below. You've heard my thoughts. Now it's time for you guys to share me yours in the comment section. Let's give you the fill on Fuller, okay? He just turned 30 years old, February 13th. Kind of sad he got cut a day after his 30th birthday. But hey, that's just life. He's played over 7,000 snaps in his 9-year NFL career. He ended 2024 on injured reserve with a knee injury. He missed 4 games earlier in the season with a concussion. So like I said, right, he's Had an up and down trajectory, especially over the last 365 days due to his injuries. But in the 13 games he was able to play last season, he played pretty well. 556 snaps, not a ton, not near his most. He had a defensive grade of 65.3, tackling grade of 79.1, and a coverage grade of 61.9. But my big number right there to focus on is that one. He only let up one touchdown in the entire season of the 13 games he's played. Let's take it back just one more year before that, though, because this is the player I still think is in there. This is the player I still think you could get on this team, okay? 1,021 snaps with Washington, had a defensive grade of 83.1, a tackling grade of 86.0, coverage grade of 82.8. He allowed 488 yards in 16 games played. Like I just said, guys, he is just 1 year removed from a career year. This isn't a guy who is 30 years old, who had his last great season back in 2021. Okay, this isn't a guy who's 30 years old that has had to miss significant time in each of the last 4 or 5 years because of different injuries. No, this is a guy who's 30, who dealt with some injuries last year, but still is just 365 days removed from having 3 PFF grades in the 80s and playing 16 games and letting up only 400 yards receiving. Make a statement for me. Like today's video if you want Kendall Fuller to be a Baltimore Raven, okay? Show Eric DeCosta, show Steve Bisciotti, show John Harbaugh, show everybody in Baltimore what you want by hitting that thumbs up button. So coming up, we got why the Ravens will sign or should sign Kendall Fuller. Okay, we're going to break it down for you guys, what I would do, why I would sign him if I was in Eric DeCosta's position. But before I do that, I got to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is our friends over at Fanatics. Guys, I know you love quarter zips, and I know as the spring comes, weather gets a little bit cooler, but being up there in the Northeast, you still have your cold days. That's why these Q-zips are so perfect, okay? Because they're nice little covering, but it doesn't get too hot, but also, you're not cold. You're up there in Baltimore. It gets cold at sometimes, even in March and even in April. It was $60. Now it is $35. If you can do the quick math, that is $25 off. So head to chatsports.com/RavensQZip to get this for $25 off. I'm going to say that again. chatsports.com/RavensQZip. Take advantage. The link to this promo is in the comments. It's also in the description of today's video. If you want to be the best, if you want to support the best, wear the best with our friends over at Fanatics. So the Ravens cornerback room as it sits right now looks a little bit like this. Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, Trey White, Brandon Stephens, Arthur Maulet. Okay, let's go down the line. Let's start with Brandon Stephens. Okay, so DeCosta, in their end-of-the-year press conference with Harbaugh and EDC, said that cornerback Brandon Stephens was a great pick, and he's grown a lot. We'll have to see what happens with him. He's helped us win a lot of games. However, he said he will probably get an opportunity to test his value on the open market. Okay, so of those 5, Brandon Stephens, pretty much right there from EDC himself, is to be expected to test the open market in free agency, which I don't think is a bad thing. He sucked this year. Just put it lightly. He was not a good football player. It was pretty brutal to watch him for the entirety of the 2024 NFL season. So that's Stephens. Let's talk Maulet, okay? You cut Arthur Maulet, you save $2.5 million in cap space. For a guy who just played 17 snaps this past year, to cut him, save $2.5 million, that's a no-brainer for me. Also, Trey White. EDC, John Harbaugh, they've said they've expected to, not really know what the future holds with Trey White. So of those 5 I just showed you, Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, those are the only 2 guys in this cornerback room that will pretty much 100% be on this team in 2025. So you add Kendall Fuller, and this secondary, I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen, it looks pretty nasty. This looks like a secondary I could get behind. You got your free safety in Kyle Hamilton. Darius Washington, he's your small bull, your strong safety, run stuffer, absolute beast. And then you look at the cornerback room and the cornerback rotation. You got Nate Wiggins on the left, Marlon Humphrey in that nickelback position, and then Kendall Fuller as that right cornerback. And that's a group I really do feel great about. Okay, I came in last season, I felt really confident about this secondary, and after about 2 games, after about 8 quarters, every ounce of confidence I had, it was over. It was gone. it was faded. This secondary needs something new. It needs something different. If Kendall Fuller is a free agent, just cut by the Miami Dolphins, I think he can be that for this team, okay? Be the teacher for me. If you're looking at that secondary of Washington, Hamilton, Humphrey, Wiggins, and Fuller, grade it for me, okay? Give me an A, B, C, D, or F in the comment section down below. So my take is, you know what? If the Ravens add Fuller and then hit cornerback or safety in the first 2 days of the draft, okay? I'm not saying it has to be round 1. I'm just saying I would like for that to be hit somewhere between round 1 through round 3. I'd feel really good about the future of this group, not only in 2025, but when you get to 2026 and beyond. Let's talk about some targets I am looking at on the draft, okay? Malachi Starks, he's the only safety I put on this group because, in my opinion, he's the only guy that kind of has a chance to fall back to you in the first round that I believe can be a game-changing, year-one, absolute beast in that safety position, okay? He might fall to you at 27. I wouldn't hold my breath. Jahdae Barron, Siobhan Revel Jr., Benjamin Morrison, 3 cornerbacks. I truly do believe that one of them of the 3 will be there at 27. I think they can make a massive difference in year 1, develop into starting cornerbacks in this league, years 2, 3, and beyond. And then Maxwell Hairston, if you don't go cornerback or safety in round 1 or round 2, he's a guy that I think will be there. He's a guy that I think has a really high ceiling, a really good future in this National Football League. And what's interesting is you add Kendall Fuller to this group in replace of Brandon Stevens in my mind, and I think we forget how great this season ended for the secondary, and then all you got to do is just add in Kendall Fuller to a team who the last 5 weeks of the season ranked pretty much best in the National Football League defensively, then I think it could be just that extra bump that this defense might need, okay? Because you're probably losing White, you're probably losing Stevens, you might cut Mollett. You have your core still together of Wiggins, of Hamilton, of Washington, of Humphrey. Those are the guys you want. So you got to just add some subsequent after that, okay? I think Kendall Fuller can be that. I think Kendall Fuller should be that, okay? We're going to do a real one roll call in the chat down below. If you are a real one, if you made it to the end of today's video, let me know by typing real one in the comment section down below. All my real ones, let me know who you are right now. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. If you guys have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, catch the latest on your Baltimore Ravens every single day right here on the Ravens Rundown. Alrighty, there we go. Number 1 in the books, ladies and gentlemen. And we got to 40 likes like I hoped. Let me know, should the Ravens sign Kendall Fuller? Give me a yes, give me a no in the comment section down below. Jack, I don't know if you have a producer mic or not, but would you sign Kendall Fuller if you were Baltimore?
You convinced me. I mean, if you're going to get rid of 2 corners, it makes sense. I don't think Fuller's going to be that expensive.
Yeah.
And coming off a career year in 2023, he missed 4 games with a concussion, missed the end of the season with a knee injury, so he obviously didn't have a full slate of games. If you get that, again, fully healthy, fully confident, I don't see why not.
Yeah, especially because you're not asking him. You're not asking him to go out there and, hey, go cover Jamar Chase for me. Go cover, the best of the best. You're asking him to be on a team's 2nd, 3rd, 4th best wide receiver. I think he can do that, okay? Let me know in the comment section down below, ladies and gentlemen. We got some Ys. We got some no's. Deshaun86 is giving it a B+. Moggs said, problem is he's 30. I get what you're saying, Moggs. I do. But again, like I just said to Jack, he's 30, but you're not asking him to go cover the best 23-year-olds in the world. You're asking him to cover each team's 2nd or 3rd best wide receiver. Omar805 says, no, he's injury prone. Omar, could not disagree with you more. He's played over 7,000 snaps in the last 9 years. He just struggled with injuries in this past year, okay? John says no. Deshaun says yes. Ravens King says yes. We got a lot of yeses, a lot of no's, a lot of differing opinions. Make sure to like today's video. Again, if you want the Ravens to make a signing, let me know down below if you want to by hitting the thumbs up button, okay? We got a good amount of people in the chat, 43 likes. I'm about to go into the second cut of the day, which our second cut is cut candidates, okay? And so When I do that, when I get back, I want this to be at 60 likes, let's say. Okay, that's the goal I'm setting. You guys help me get there by liking today's video. All right, some cut candidates coming up to you just very shortly. Are you ready, Mr. Jack? All righty, let's do it. Cut candidates coming at you right now. The Ravens have about $8.9 million in cap space per Spotrac. So let's break down some cap casualties, okay? On today's episode, I'm going to give you 6 players I think the Baltimore Ravens could cut, could be on the chopping block to get a little bit more spending money for NFL free agency. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you guys hit that sub button because we are almost through the month of February, okay? I think we all forget that February only has 28 days, so we're coming close to the end of it in our month-long sub battle with Steelers Talk. We're close. We're still 27 subs behind. So to help me get there, make sure you guys hit that sub button. Help us pass our Steelers channel and bring us to the top of the AFC North. So I want to start with a little bit of a public service announcement, okay? This is a list of players who could help save money if they were cut. These are not players who I think suck, who I believe aren't good fits, or who I think should be cut. Okay, these are just 6 players who I think could be to save a little bit of money. Because that's the whole issue so far going into this offseason is the Ravens just don't have a lot of it. Money, that is. $8.9 million in cap space. And I know for you and me, when we don't really have a lot in our bank accounts, $8.9 million looks pretty awesome. However, in the National Football League, that's pennies, okay? So let's start with our number 1 surprise cut candidate. That is Marlon Humphrey. It pains me to even say that name in this segment, but he's number 1. And I want to start by saying that of the players on this list, of the 6 names you are about to hear, Marlowe is the one I'd least like to cut. Marlowe is also the one I think is least likely to be cut given how good this past season was. However, cutting Humphrey does save $12.7 million in cap space. It's a lot of money. Okay, that's too much to even really be ignored, okay? It's stuff that you have to talk about. Could he be cut? I don't think so, but $12.7 million is a lot of money. And why I don't think he'll be cut is because you look at who the Ravens have in that cornerback room right now. And from top to bottom, I see 2 guys in Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey that I believe will be on this team come the 2025 NFL season. The other 3, Trey White, Brandon Stevens, and Arthur Mollett, would not be surprised if every single one of those guys was wearing a different color jersey in 2025. And so if you believe that's the case, then cutting Marlon Humphrey and leaving your cornerback room only Nate Wiggins just makes 0 sense to me, okay? Especially coming off the year that he had. And he was a top 4 cornerback in all of football when it comes to passer rating allowed, okay? He allowed a passer rating of 61.1. Again, top 4 in the National Football League, not even adding to the fact that he picked the ball off 5 times as well. And so because of those things, frankly, I'll be honest with you, I'd be pissed if they cut Humphrey. I would be. I think what he brings to this team, not even really just as a football player, okay, that's of course added into it, but as a leader. Man, every guy on this team loves Marlon Humphrey. Does he talk a lot? Sure. Does he go on Instagram Live a little bit too much? Yeah, maybe. Does he dress a little bit funny? Yeah, he does. But he's a leader on this team. Guys look up to him. He sets the pace in this locker room on the defensive side of the ball, okay? And getting rid of him a year after having his best season ever doesn't make sense to me, even if you can't save $12 million. So weigh in for me. Comment section. Should the Ravens cut Marlon Humphrey? Give me a yes. Give me a no, of course. Y for yes and for no. Let me know your answer in the comment section right now. Number 2, Mr. Mark Andrews. And I feel like I have to say it because every time I talk about Mark, I have to say I'm not saying this just because he dropped the 2-point conversion and fumbled in the playoff game. But he's a $16 million cap hit in 2025. And Baltimore could save $11 million if he is cut or if he is traded. Okay? And in my opinion, it doesn't really make sense to cut Mark. Okay? So I don't think that's going to happen. I think 2 things might happen. I think his contract will be restructured, or I think he'll be traded because I believe that you can still get something out of him. And I'm not the only one that believes that. Okay, the 33rd team, they came out with an article of a trade idea for Mark Andrews. The Los Angeles Chargers. They get Mark. Baltimore would receive the Chargers' third-round pick, which is 86 in this upcoming draft. Okay? And honestly, guys, I think I'd make this trade. I do. I don't know how much more you're going to get from him. He is aging. I know he had a great year this past season, but still, to get a third-round pick, to save $11 million, I think it's worth it, especially when you have a tight end behind him, as a likely, that can just come right in and, you know what, be a really strong asset, a really good pass catcher, a really dynamic playmaker. So I'd make this trade. What would you guys do, though? Let me know in the comment section down below. Would you accept this trade? A for accept. D for decline. Give me your answer in the comment section. So coming up, we got 4 more surprise cut candidates, 4 more guys I think might need to keep their heads on a swivel over the next couple months. But where you need to keep your heads to is turning towards our friends over at Prize Picks, because basketball season's well underway. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching your favorite players. You can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. So sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. So join over 10 million users and sign up today. You think Steph Curry will get more than 5 3-pointers next week? What about Giannis? Will he score more than 35 points? Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game at Prize Picks. What I love about Prize Picks is it's not just the major sports, okay, that you can choose some Prize Picks for. You could do it for boxing. You could do it for darts. And then, of course, you could do it for the NBA as well. So give me more than 170.5 total punches landed for Shakur Stevenson. Give me more than 4 180s thrown for Luke Littler. And give me more than 24.5 points for Luka Doncic. Make sure you guys head over to Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. We all knew that this name was going to be on the list, okay? And we're bringing him in at number 3. That is Justin Tucker. And let's be honest, guys. It's been an interesting last couple of weeks for Justin Tucker and this entire organization. But if you cut him post 6-1, okay, so you can't do it before June 1st and expect this much money. But if you cut him after June 1st, if he is one of your post-June 1st cut designations, you'd save $4.2 million in cap space, okay? And I even think I'd be thinking about it just based off of the season he had on the field this past year, okay? Took a massive step back, was a shell of himself. But with everything coming out just this past week, Joanna Schaaf with the Baltimore Banner, new article saying that the number of women who have, accused Justin Tucker of sexually inappropriate behavior is now up to 16, okay, in the last 2.5 weeks. And so I think that, obviously, is a reason to think about cutting him. And then also just mixed with the fact that he's not even really doing his job very well. And really wasn't doing his job very well this past year. And then also on top of everything, if you do it after June 1st, you could save $4.2 million. I think that's a very likely one. Let's keep our eyes on that over the next couple of weeks. I got to bring about this sub battle yet again. That's how important it is, ladies and gentlemen. February's coming to a close. I need your help. If you haven't subbed already, do it. I don't know what you're waiting for. This is the best coverage money can buy. That's the best part. It's free. Right here on YouTube. Help us be the best AFC North channel in the office. Help us pass Steelers talk. We're only 27 down. I need you. Hit that sub button. Let's go to number 4. David Ojabo, edge rusher, is one of these surprise cut candidates for the Baltimore Ravens. And you know what, guys? I hate to say it, but I might be ready to give up on Ojabo. I gave him the benefit of the doubt this year. I know producer Jack's booing because he's a Michigan man. But, how much longer are we going to extend this rope for David Ojabo? Okay? If you cut him, you'd save $1.78 million and only about $730,000 in dead money. And that's worth it to me for a guy who's only gotten 4 sacks in 3 seasons in Baltimore. And I know he's dealt with a lot of injuries, okay? I know he's had an up and down career. But at some point, you just got to say, okay, that was a miss. Okay, David Ajabo is a miss. And if you could save almost $2 million from cutting a guy who's gotten 4 sacks in 3 years, it's like, to me, that's honestly, ladies and gentlemen, a no-brainer. Shout it out in the comment section. Name a player you want Baltimore to cut. It can be one of the 4 I've already said. It can be one you think of on your own. Just let me know in the comment section down below. Let's stay on the defensive side of the ball, and let's talk a little bit of Trenton Simpson. Okay, talk about an up and down year. It's been really interesting. Okay, he was a starter in week 1. However, the last 4 weeks of the season, he played 15 snaps. Didn't get 15 tackles. Okay, you might have misheard me. Didn't get 15 tackles for loss. Nope, you misheard that as well. 15 snaps. Snaps! Just him being out on the field last 4 weeks, only 15 times. Okay, and I get it, $1.5 million isn't a ton of savings, but why are you wasting that on a guy who the last 4 weeks of the season, the most crucial weeks of this season, because if you remember, with 4 weeks left to play, this team did not have the AFC North on lock. And they said, you know what, the guy who we had starting at the beginning of it, let's just not even get him on the field. Okay, I'm cutting Trenton Simpson. I'm saving $1.5 million, and I'm doing it without even batting an eye. Let's talk our last one, okay? Jalen Armour Davis, the cornerback out of Alabama. And he's only played in 19 games over the last 4 years. Okay, this one is, I don't want to say it's self-explanatory. I don't want to say it's easy. But he just hasn't found himself to be good enough to get on the field, okay? And when you could save $1 million, $1.1 million, and only have to go through $190,000 of dead money if you cut him, then in my opinion, that's a no-brainer, okay? Because, you got to think about it. I know $1.1 million doesn't sound like a ton when it's a $272 million cap space in the National Football League, but your team's only got 8.9, okay? Just cutting him, that gets you to 11. This team needs to make moves in free agency, so cutting these guys, even if it's just saving $1 million, that can go a long way. Okay, there's the 6 surprise cut candidates. Let me know who you agree with. Let me know who you disagree with in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching today's episode of the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. I am your host, Joey Petersen. I'm here all offseason long. Best coverage money can buy right here on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed already, do so right now. Alrighty, there we go. Name a player you want Baltimore to cut in the comment section down below. Elijah DeGoat said, Justin Tucker for Brandon Aubrey. I don't hate it. That's a trade I would make, my friend. That's a trade I would make. Speaking of trades, I wouldn't trade this guy for the world. 619 Cali Factor coming in with a $2 super chat saying, trade Andrews for Asante Samuel. We need corners. Not a bad idea. The thing is I don't know if I want to take on Asante Samuel's contract. I think he might just get cut anyway. Could be a cap casualty over there. But hey, I don't mind that idea. We do need corners. Like I talked about in the first segment, I think that Kendall Fuller would fulfill that need, in my opinion. I think he could do it very well. But thanks so much for the $2 super chat, 619 Cali Factor. If you guys want to be like him, all you got to do is hit that super chat button. It's a $sign next to the chat box. For a $10 super chat, you get to go into our Hall of Fame club. Name goes on one of these coins right here, gets into the bank. We're raffling it off at the end of, not the end of the season, when the draft comes, okay? So we'll pick one person. They'll get to go home with this helmet. We'll send it right to you, okay? After everything ends, sounds like you're ending the whole stream. No, it's just because these are individual cuts. But I get what you're saying for this tadpole. Also, use hashtag Ravens, or you could super chat as well if you want to get a question on. Super chatting is the only way 100% guarantees that it's going to get on the show. But if you got a question for me, use hashtag Ravens. Ask it in the comment section. We'll get it on screen. I'll answer it on our next cut because that's what we're doing, our live Ravens mailbag. And we've got a $5 super chat coming in from my man, Yee Kaw. What is up, my friend? What is up? He's saying, Hey, Joey P. We'll get you up on here, Yeehaw. Our software is being a little bit slow. There we go. Hey, Joey P. Last week I saw a video on the Ravens YouTube channel saying they are the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. Thoughts? Hello from Tokyo. Yeehaw, you will get your question on the show today. Hope you're having fun in Tokyo. What are you Tokyo for? Let me know. I've never been there. I have never really been I've been out of the continent, but I've been to like Central America. That's it. I've never really been overseas. But that's awesome, man. Hope you're having fun. Let me know what you're doing there. Thanks so much for watching. What time is it in Tokyo right now? Jack, do we have any guesses? Oh, that's a great guess. It is 7:36 in the morning. Good morning, Yeehaw. He's there for vacation. Awesome. That rocks, man. That's going to be a ton of fun. Hope you're enjoying time with family, friends, whoever you're with. Hope you guys are having a blast in Tokyo. Namaste. Is that Japanese? That's Japanese, right? There we go. All righty. Jack, do we have enough questions? He's looking, ladies and gentlemen. He'd like more. Okay. Great. Okay, we are going to start. So again, if you guys have any questions you guys want for me to answer, use hashtag Ravens in the comment section, super chat to guarantee your question gets on the next cut, just like our friend Yeehaw did. And with all of that, let's go ahead and get into the video. Jack, you ready, my friend? All righty, let's do it. Coming at you right now. On today's episode, we're going to talk about some crazy trades, some crazy free agent additions. And if you're like me and you want the Ravens to make a splash in the next couple of months to get over that hump, then go ahead, hit that thumbs up button, okay? You never know if EDC watches. You never know if Steve Bisciotti watches. And if they come across this video and it's got like 1,000 likes, they might say, you know what? Let's do something about it. So if you haven't already and you want the Ravens to make a splash, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Welcome into the show, everybody. You are watching our Ravens mailbag. We do this every Tuesday evening during our live shows. We get viewers, watchers, listeners to ask me questions. I answer them right on the spot. So if you haven't already, join us every single Tuesday. Make sure you lock us in, hit that subscribe button. And let's get into the questions. Coming up from 619 Cali Factor, my guy with a $2 super chat saying, trade Andrews for Asante Samuel. We need corners. I like the idea. I would prefer a Mark Andrews trade just because of the guy you've got behind him and Isaiah Likely, the $11 million you would save in cap space, and because you know what? You trade, you still get something out of him. I don't know if Asante Samuel is going to be somebody you could get out of him. That seems like a little bit of a reach. We talked about this, I think just the other day, but the 33rd team said a third-round pick. I would do that. A third-round pick, I think that's probably the highest you're going to get. You know, Mark had a great year, but he's aging. He's getting older, not getting any younger. So I think Asante Samuel's a little bit too high. But I do agree. This team does need corners. I think they're going to address that in the draft. Next question we got from Yeehaw with a $5 super chat saying, hey, Joey P., last week I saw a video on the Ravens YouTube channel saying that they're the betting favorites to win the next Super Bowl. Thoughts? Hello from Tokyo. Hello. Namaste, Yeehaw. That's not Japanese? Okay, well, I'm sorry to any konnichiwa. That's what I was looking for. Konnichiwa to Yeehaw. Yes, I think that I'm not surprised. Anytime you've got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry's going to be back for another year. Zay Flowers is going to be back for another year. For the most part, this is going to be a very similar team. And so I'm not surprised at all. I still believe that every time Lamar Jackson is your QB1, every time you go out and play a football game with number 8 under center, you've got a pretty damn good chance of winning that game, okay? So doesn't surprise me in the slightest. I kind of love it. Sets the expectations high. Hopefully they surpass them, and by surpass them, I mean win it. Hope you're enjoying Tokyo. Next one coming up from Marshy with about 5 Ys. After the recent news, should the hashtag Ravens trade for Jair Alexander? Great question, Marshy. The news he's talking about comes from Rob Demovsky. Says there are strong indications that Alexander's timeline with the Packers will end without him playing another down. Multiple team sources have privately expressed their frustration with Alexander's inability to stay healthy and or play throughout injuries. And I don't know if that means trade. I kind of am getting the sense that he might just get cut by Green Bay, okay? Because it would save them a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money if they cut him. Post 6-1, it'd be about $17 million in cap space saved up. And so I don't think anybody's going to want to take on that contract. I really don't, especially for a guy who's played 14 games in the last 2 years. It just doesn't make sense for me. I don't think Baltimore trades for him. However, if/when he does get cut, would not be surprised at all to see Baltimore in the running to sign a guy like Jair Alexander. We all know about him and Lamar Jackson's history together. They played college ball. They loved each other. They've practiced against each other in camps, Packers, Ravens. They love seeing each other, okay? So would not be surprised in the slightest if they sign him after he is released. Possibly. Let me know, would you trade for Jair Alexander? Give me a T, give me a P in the comment section down below. T for trade, P for pass. Let me know your answer in the comment section. This next one coming up from High, I still don't know how he does that with his name. Makes no sense. I think it's cool nonetheless. Saying hashtag Ravens, will the Ravens sign a wide receiver? I hope so. I think it'd be pretty cool. I think that it is kind of needed. I've talked a lot about the free agents that are available right now for Baltimore. A lot of guys that could come in here and be a wide receiver 3, which I think is what this team needs, okay? Zay Flowers is your wide receiver 1, flat out, okay? Wide receiver 2, Rashad Bateman, no questions about that. But then your next best wide receiver is Nelson Aguilar, who I don't believe is good enough to be a wide receiver 3 in this NFL anymore, okay? And so I look at guys like Josh Palmer, DeAndre Hopkins, those kind of guys who are pending free agents, and I believe those are guys who could step in and in year 1 be a reliable target as that third wide receiver for a guy like Lamar Jackson, okay? So I don't know if they will. I hope they do. That's basically what I'm saying. Next up, we got Ravens King, hashtag Ravens. We should try to go after Davante Adams this offseason. I agree, Ravens King. He's going to get cut. I don't think anybody's going to trade for that contract. I wouldn't want this team to trade for this contract. In fact, this team couldn't even trade for that contract, okay, with the way the Ravens cap space is as of right now, with how much Davante Adams is expected to be paid. I would love it. I think he could come in here and be a real asset. If you remember when the trade rumors were going around in early October, Baltimore was a place that he mentioned, okay? He's talked about how much he loves Lamar Jackson before. What's going to be interesting is the Aaron Rodgers aspect of it. Okay, I think there's a good chance that whatever team Aaron Rodgers goes to next is where Davante Adams is going to go, okay? And so I don't know how likely it is that he'll end up in Baltimore, but I would love it if Baltimore made a run at him in free agency after he is eventually cut. What I think you guys should make a run at is chatsports.com/RavensQZip, okay? We've got these awesome quarter zip hoodies. I know February's coming to a close. March is coming in. That means a little bit of warmer weather, but it's still a little cool, so this is just the perfect little mixture of them both, okay? You're sleek, you're stylish, you're comfortable, you're not too cold, not too hot. Best part is you can get them $25 off right now. They were $60, now they're $35. Chatsports.com/RavensQZip. That's where you need to head out to take advantage right now. Moggs coming up next. Hashtag Ravens. Joey, how do you feel about trading for Michael Pittman Jr.? Maybe trade Andrews for him. Still have comp picks to trade for a vet at edge like Judon. I like a couple different trade rumors in that one. I like Michael Pittman Jr. I think he's one of the more underrated wide receivers in this game. I truly do. I think what he's been able to do in his career in Indianapolis with their quarterback situation as of recent, he's got guys like Joe Flacco, Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson throwing him the ball, and he seems to be really, really consistent, okay? I don't love the fact that you probably have to give up a decent bit to get him and then also have to pay him. Doesn't make necessarily a ton of sense with the way that this team is structured right now with their cap space. I think they could be interested in Andrews. I think they're going to be looking at a tight end. I think Tyler Warren to Indianapolis could be a real possibility in the draft. And so I would think about it. I'd have to see the official trade, but I like the thought. I think Michael Pittman could be a stud. And then also still have comp picks to trade for vet edge like Judon. I think I would love Judon. I think that Baltimore has made a history of taking older edge rushing targets, making them really successful at the latter ends of their careers. I think the same could be done for Matt Judon. Next question from XLight, #Ravens, is our Super Bowl window closing? No. Quick answer, long one. As long as you have Lamar Jackson on your team, I think you can always win a Super Bowl. Okay, I know that the next couple years, this team might not be as well-rounded because of the money that you're giving Lamar Jackson, but still in the same breath, you have him. Okay? Look what you were able to do with him in the backfield 2 years ago, Gus Edwards, right? Not that great of a backfield. No Derrick Henry. And then you had Zay Flowers, a younger Rashad Bateman. You still made it to the AFC Championship game. Sure, you had a fantastic defense, but I think that's not going to change. Okay, I think the defense is always going to be competitive, just like it was at the end of this past season. So I think with Lamar at the helm, with 8 under center, you're always going to be in talks to win a Super Bowl. I think he will win one. Okay, I would almost guarantee it. Okay, next one coming up from Freeway Cuda. #Ravens, how about trading Andrews and a pick for a DB like Sauce Gardner or J.C. Horn, draft an edge first round, then get a safety next round like the guy from South Carolina? I like it, Freeway. A little bit of like playing EDC, okay? You got a lot of components to this. I love it. The one problem I have with this question is you say draft an edge first round. If you trade for a guy like Sauce Gardner, they're not just going to take Andrews in a second rounder. They're going to want your first round pick. Okay, and so I don't know if you'd have your first round pick. That's the great thing about edge rusher, though, is I think it's a really, really deep draft, a really, really deep class for that position. So you might not get a guy like a Mike Green, James Pierce Jr. in that first round, but second round, third round, Jared Ivey, there's still a bunch of great edge rushers you could possibly get down to. Izaraku, the kid from Virginia Tech. And so I would do it, but again, Sauce Gardner is going to be looking to get paid. Same with J.C. Horn. And it all comes down to cap space, all comes back to that $8.98 million that the Ravens have. Just not a lot, unfortunately. Ravens King, #Ravens, I would love for us to get Paulson at Debo in free agency. He would fit in this defense. I like it. I don't think he'd be incredibly expensive. And I think, like we've talked about this week, you are about to lose, I believe, Brandon Stevens, Arthur Mollett, and Trey White. Okay, and so you got a great solid top 2 in Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey. You need another corner in there. Paulson Adebo will be available. I think he's a massive step up from Brandon Stevens. I think he'd fit in this defense as well. I would love that, Ravens King. Next up, Moggs, #Ravens, is Jacoby Myers as a wide receiver 1? Great question. Let's go ahead and check in on Jacoby Myers and see what he was able to do this past year. Yeah, I think he would be. I think he might even could be a solid wide receiver 2. I think I would maybe even bump Bateman down to wide receiver 3 if you got a guy like Jacoby Myers. I would love that addition. Again, it's going to cost you a little bit. He's had 4 straight seasons of 800 or more yards. This last season, he was over 1,000. And I think that Raiders defense believes they're only a quarterback away. Okay, I truly believe they think that. So I don't know if they'd be willing to part ways with their best wide receiver this upcoming offseason when they believe that they're so close. It might be crazy, but that's kind of what being a Raiders fan is. Last question of the day from Nikki Lopes. What's up, Nikki? Should the #Ravens sign Josh Sweat? He's my number 1 free agent edge rusher target. Okay, I know Khalil Mack's out there. I love Khalil Mack. Josh Sweat's younger. You saw what he was able to do in the Super Bowl. Big players make big-time plays in big-time moments. That was the biggest moment you can get. Okay, and he played his best football at that stage and in that moment, okay? I don't think it'd be incredibly expensive either. 3 years, around $18 million a year. I know you don't have a lot of money right now. You can make some moves to free up a ton of cap space. You can make that happen. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. Okay, Josh Sweat, I think he can be what takes this defense from good to great. This team struggled getting consistent pressure on the quarterback, especially in the playoffs. In that playoff game against Buffalo, Josh Sweat comes in here. I think he makes a big difference, okay? I would love it. Great question, Nikki Lopes. What say you guys? Should the Ravens sign Josh Sweat? Give me a yes. Give me a no in the comment section down below. Weigh in for me. What say you? Thanks so much for watching. It's been an awesome week right here on the Ravens Rundown. Again, if you guys want to be a part of that Tuesday live show, if you guys want to be a part of that mailbag segment, then just join us every Tuesday evening, 5 p.m. Eastern Time when we go live. Make sure to ask your questions to make sure you don't miss the next one. Hit that sub button. Turn on those notifications right now. All righty, Jack. There we go. Omar805 says, how about bringing Joe Flacco as backup quarterback? Would that not be an awesome little, full 180? I would love it. Gino and JoJo, what's up? Joey, how's it going, bro? Good, man. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little while. Man, I miss the watch parties. I'm not going to lie. Deshaun86 says, is he going to be still hungry? You got to answer that question. That's a good, fair question. Joe says, drafting that dresser, the rest of people you can get through free agency. Drafting that dresser. What do we think that means, Jack? Joe's comment. Drafting that dresser, the rest of people you can get through free agency. I don't know. Gino and Jojo said that 2-point conversion, they had it in his hands, but dropped it. Gino, why are you doing this to me, man? It's a brutal memory. But anyway, glad you are here. Glad you guys are all here. It's been an awesome another Tuesday live show. $7, man. That's not bad for a Tuesday evening. Let me know yes or no in the comment section down below if you guys haven't already. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video. Do all the free things. We truly do appreciate it. For producer Jack, for myself right here on the Ravens Rundown, y'all have a fantastic week. God bless.